Good morning, cadets. In the previous video, we have discussed about phasor diagrams for the phase relations between current and voltages of AC voltage connected to resistor, AC voltage connected to inductor and AC voltage connected to capacitor individually, and then solve some numerical problems. Today we shall learn about AC voltage applied to a series LCR circuit. AC voltage applied to a series LCR circuit. What happens if we take inductor, capacitor and resistor in series across a AC voltage? Let the AC voltage be given by as we have taken earlier Vm sin omega t. V equal to Vm sin omega t. This is the AC voltage, and we would like to find out the instantaneous value of current and how instantaneous value of current will have a phase relation with the voltage. Let Q be the charge stored in the capacitor and instantaneous current I be the current in the components of this circuit. The current in the circuit will be same because all the three inductor, capacitor and resistor are taken in series. Therefore, the current will be same. Let Q be the charge and I be the instantaneous current. Then using the Kirchhoff's voltage law or Kirchhoff's loop law, we can write the relation between source voltage and the voltage across inductor, capacitor and resistor, right. So, first we will write, if Q is the charge on the capacitor, and I the current in the series LCR circuit, then using Kirchhoff's loop rule or Kirchhoff's voltage law, we can write source voltage V m sin omega t, this is source voltage, minus Ri, where I is the current across the resistor, Ri product, minus Q by C minus L di by dt. L di by dt gives us the algebraic sum of all these is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of all these is equal to 0. Now, using this is a Kirchhoff's voltage law or loop law. So, we can write therefore, so first I will write L di by dt plus Ri plus Q by C. If you take these negative terms on the right hand side, you will get this. E is equal to the source voltage Vm sin omega t. Now, we can find the solution for current I. So, this is a equation, it is a differential equation. Now, we know that current I can also be written as dq by dt, rate of flow of charges or rate of amount of charge, dq by dt. So, by substituting this, we can find the solution for current I. So, to find the solution for current I, there are two methods. One is phasor diagram solution Using phasor diagrams, we can find the phase relation between current I and the voltage. Phasor diagram solution. And the second one is the analytical method. By actual analysis, by carrying out the differential equation and method of differentiation, we can find out the solution for current I. It is called analytical method. You will see that both the solutions will give us the same result. So first let us try the solution by phasor diagram solution, phasor diagram method. So we have to draw phasor diagram for the current across the resistor and voltage across resistor, voltage across capacitor, voltage across inductor, and then we will find out the resultant voltage. Okay, and using that we can find out what is the phase relation between instantaneous current and the voltage, source voltage, right? Okay, since inductor, capacitor and resistor are in series across the AC voltage, the current which we are going to find out is same in all the components because they are in series and having same amplitude in all the components. Let the current be I. So let us assume that let I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi. Let us assume that the phase relation between the total current I flowing in this circuit and the voltage V is given by phi, where phi is the phase difference between voltage Vm sin omega t and current, that is I, voltage V and current I. So we will find out what is the value of this phi using the phasor diagram. We know that when we draw the phasor, the voltage across the resistor and current through the resistor are in same phase. So if I draw at certain angle omega t, suppose this is the voltage across resistor, then the current across resistor will be having a lesser magnitude and this will be the current which will be having zero phase difference between a resistor and the current. So this is current phasor I and voltage phasor VR vector across the resistor. Now we have studied that current across the inductor lags behind the voltage. It means the voltage across the inductor leads ahead the current. So if I is the current, then the voltage across inductor leads ahead. So it leads ahead by pi by 2. So at about angle 90 degree in the second quadrant, I am drawing the voltage. This is the VL phasor, because the voltage is leading ahead the current. In other words, current is lagging behind the voltage in the conductor. Now that is across the inductor. Voltage is leading ahead the current across the inductor. Now when we draw the voltage across capacitor, we know that the current leads ahead the capacitor by a phase angle pi by 2, right. In case of inductor, the current lags behind by pi by 2. The current lags behind the inductor L by pi by 2. Therefore, this is the current phasor and this is the voltage phasor. In case of capacitor, you will get the phasor capacitor phasor in the same line but in the opposite direction. So, this becomes VC phasor, and you can see the VC phasor lags behind the current by pi by 2. So, we are considering VC phasor, VL phasor and VR phasor, where you can just write here VR is the phasor across resistor, VC phasor across voltage phasor across capacitor. Similarly, VL vector is a phasor, voltage phasor across inductor. So, resistor is represented by resistance R, capacitor is resistance by capacitance C, and inductor is represented by the symbol L, inductance, right. And I vector, I phasor is the current phasor which is in phase, with voltage phasor VR, as we have studied earlier, right. These are the symbolic representations. Now, using these phasors, we need to find out what is the resultant voltage phasor. These are the vectors. VL vector, purposely it is taken of less magnitude, VC vector of longer magnitude, higher magnitude, and VR vector which is perpendicular to both, and I vector of smaller magnitude. Using these three, one can find out the resultant, right. And this is the coordinate axis, system of coordinate axis, x dash, y dash, and this is the origin, as we have studied earlier, right. Okay. Here the length of these phasors are nothing but the amplitudes, the maximum values of voltage across resistor, Vm equal to IMR, voltage across the capacitor, maximum voltage across capacitor, VCM equal to IMXC, where XC is the capacitive reactance, and voltage, maximum voltage across inductor is VLM max, VLM is equal to IMXL, where XL is the inductive reactance, IM is the maximum current, that is peak value of current. Okay. And from this equation, we can write the voltage across the inductor plus voltage across the resistor plus voltage across the capacitor is equal to the source voltage V. Okay, these are the time dependent voltages. So, if we write same thing in terms of the phasors, then you can write this VL phasor plus VR phasor plus VC phasor is equal to the resultant voltage phasor. These are the phasors. Although they have the vector notations, and even phasors are nothing but rotating vectors with some constant angular velocity, angular speed omega about the origin. And here the at a certain angle, the angle of this current I, which we have written earlier, if you remember, we assumed I as a function of time t, time dependent current I, as Im sin omega t plus phi, where omega t plus phi is the angle here. Omega t plus phi is the angle at any time t, where phi is the phase, which we are going to find out this phase relation between voltage and current using this phasor diagram method. Phasor diagram method. Okay. So VRM. So this is nothing but VRM. VRM. VRM is equal to IMR, VCM equal to IMXC, and VLM is equal to IMXL. Next, we have written the phasor relation, that is phasor relation as VL vector plus VR vector plus VC vector. These are nothing but the phasors is equal to source vector voltage, right? Now, here you can see VL vector and VC vector are always in the same line, but exactly in opposite direction. So we can have the combined effect of VC vector and VL vector. So combined effect of VC vector and VLF, that is VC vector and VL vector, can be taken as one single vector. Combined vector. So purposely I have taken VC longer than VL, so that VC vector plus VL vector, when we add vector addition, then we will get a resultant vector in the same direction as that of VC, which is longer, and whose magnitude will be VCM minus VLM. Combined vector of VC vector and VL vector is written as VC vector plus VL vector. This has a magnitude of this is equal to VCM, that is magnitude of VC is nothing but the length of VC, that is nothing but maximum value of VC. VCM, amplitude value of VC, amplitude, that is VCM minus, it is minus because it is in the opposite direction. The angle between them is 180 degree, 90 plus 90. Therefore, it becomes VLM. This is the magnitude of this, and the direction is along VC, which is directed along VC, because we have taken VCM greater than VLM, VCM greater than VLM. Now, we can draw the resultant of VC vector and VL vector in one direction, and then try to find out the resultant of these three vectors. And that is how we are going to draw the final phasor diagram. So now I am drawing resultant V, right? So first VC, is longer than VL, therefore first we will find out VC vector plus VL vector. So that will be in the same direction as that of VC, whose magnitude is given by VCM minus VLM, VCM minus VLM, which will be in the same direction. So I am drawing in the same direction. This is the one which I have drawn here. VR phasor and current phasor. VR phasor and current phasor. And here I am drawing the resultant of VL vector and VC vector. So that will be, let us say, of this magnitude in the same direction. And this is parallel to this. And using these two, I can find out what is the resultant vector V, of all these three, VC, VL and VR, right. So here this is of angle omega t plus phi, as we have written here, same angle, and using this one can find out the resultant. Again one can use, this is giving us VC plus VL vector in the same direction as that of the VC. So resultant of these two can be found out using the parallelogram law of vectors. Okay, draw parallel vectors, right, as we have done in the 11th class. Draw parallel vectors. This is VC plus VL, parallel vector, and this one is the parallel vector, that is VR, parallel vector VR. Then join the diagonal from the tail to the heads, yes, this gives us the resultant vector V. And you can see here this angle between the current, this is the current I and this is the voltage V, the angle here is going to be phi. This angle we want to find out, and definitely this will be omega t. So this is the phasor representation, and using this resultant phasor diagram we can find out the value of phase phi. Okay. Now let us find out the magnitude of this resultant phasor V. So using this right triangle, so we can apply Pythagoras theorem and we can find out the resultant, that is magnitude of this resultant vector V. You see, in this right angle triangle it has two vectors. One is VR vector, that is VR phasor from here to here, and another one is the resultant of VC vector and VL vector. So using Pythagoras theorem we can find out the square of the hypotenuse, which is nothing but Vm square. So square of the length of the hypotenuse, is nothing but maximum voltage Vm. Vm square is equal to VR square, that is Vrm square, right. Vrm square is nothing but square of the length of this vector. Square of the length of this vector is nothing but Vrm square plus square of the length of this resultant vector Vc and VL, which is nothing but Vcm minus VLm square. Vcm minus VLm square. So using this we can find out the value of the current. Very interesting. So square root of this gives us the magnitude of the resultant voltage V, right. So this can be expressed in terms of the product of the resistance and the current, and this can be expressed as again the product of the current and the resulting reactances. That is what we are going to write. Now we will substitute the values of Vrm, Vcm and VLm. We know that Vrm, initially we have written is Im product of Im and resistance R. PCM is product of peak value of current and the capacitive reactance XC. VLM, peak value of current and XL, where XL is the inductive reactance. Now substitute all this, we get Im square into R square plus, in this bracket you will get Im XC minus Im XL. Square of that, you can take out again Im square outside, you will be left with XC minus XL square, XC minus XL square. So now we can take out completely what is Im square. Therefore, Im square into bracket R square plus XC minus XL whole square, whole square. This gives us peak value of voltage. Now we want Im. Take square root on both sides, we get Im is equal to Vm by square root of this entire product, R square plus XC minus XL square into, everything is under square root. Taking square root on both sides, you can say Vm is equal to Im into square root of this entire square bracket, so which is in the denominator. So this gives us the peak value of current. Peak value of current, the flowing in the LCR circuit, is equal to peak value of resultant voltage, peak value of source voltage divided by square root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square. Again, this R square plus XC minus XL square under root plays the same role as it is played by resistor in a resistor circuit connected to AC voltage, and it is the sum of all the effects of resistance, capacitive reactance and inductive reactance. Together this effect is called as impedance. So when there is a combination of resistor, inductor, or resistor capacitor, or resistor inductor capacitor, then the resulting resistance or resulting opposition to the flow of alternating current is usually termed as impedance and is denoted by Z. So we denote it by Z, where Z is called as impedance, where Z is equal to square root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square is called impedance. Impedance of LCR series circuit. LCR series circuit, AC circuit. So this is how finally we write Im is equal to Vm upon Z. Okay. Now we can very easily remember the value of Z as square root of this one by using this right angle triangle. This right angle triangle, because in this right angle triangle you can see the opposite side is Vc plus Vl vector and the adjacent side is Vr vector, and the angle between the hypotenuse and the Vr vector is phi, that is phase angle. So now we can draw the right angle triangle, so which is also equivalent to this angle phase phi here. So either you can take this triangle or this right angle triangle to remember impedance. That's what we are calling it as impedance diagram. Let us draw impedance diagram to remember conveniently. So you can see this right angle triangle. From this right angle triangle, tan phi is equal to magnitude of VC vector plus VL vector. Magnitude of VC vector plus VL vector is nothing but VCM minus VLM magnitude divided by opposite by adjacent, and the adjacent here is VR vector. So magnitude of VR vector is VRM. Magnitude of VR phasor is VRM. So in this again, if you take the IM as common, then you are left with XC minus XL by IM into R. IM into R. So IM cancels. When the IM cancels, then you will get, therefore tan phi is equal to XC minus XL divided by R. So this is the how we can find out using this right angle triangle. The same right angle triangle can be redrawn to remember the equation for impedance. You see here, impedance Z is equal to square root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square. Okay. So redrawing the same triangle and adjusting it in a convenient way, we can show that this is the adjacent side and this is the opposite side. Say XC minus XL, and this is the adjacent side R, and this becomes the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse can be written as Z. So this is called impedance diagram, and the angle here is phi. The angle here is phi, same angle. So it means the resultant of V is Z. The resultant of V is Z, that is magnitude of this one is Z, and magnitude of this one XC minus XL is this one, and magnitude of this one is R, because in all these cases the product, the coefficient is IM, that IM cancels. When IM cancels, you are left with this. So this is what we call it as impedance triangle, impedance diagram, or it is a impedance right angle triangle. It is a right angle triangle. So that when you just define what is tan phi is equal to the opposite XC minus XL divided by adjacent R, XC minus XL divided by R, and the impedance is very easily remembered here as Z is equal to square root of R square plus XC minus XL square, that is using right angle triangle, that is Pythagoras theorem. Using Pythagoras theorem, square of the hypotenuse, that is Z square, equal to sum of the squares of the other two sides, R square plus XC minus XL square. That is how it is written here. So in this solution, we have assumed here, that is voltage across the capacitance is of higher magnitude than the voltage across the inductance. As a result, definitely the capacitive reactance will be greater than inductive reactance. So such circuit is predominantly capacitive. So we can write here, if XC is greater than XL, such a LCR circuit is predominantly capacitive. Such circuit is predominantly capacitive. So if XL is greater than XC, then it is predominantly inductive. So if it is predominantly capacitive, then phase phi is positive. Phase phi is positive. So that is circuit called as predominantly capacitive AC circuit. On the other hand, if XC is less than XL, if XC is less than XL, you can see this will be in the second quadrant. VC vector plus VL vector, which we have drawn in this case, it will be in the second quadrant, because that will be VLM minus VCM. So in that case, the phase phi is negative. Here you can see the phase phi is positive. In the other case, what happens? Phase phi will be negative. So here phi is negative, and such circuit is called predominantly inductive. Predominantly inductive. So finally, we got the solution for current I, which is the instantaneous current IT in the LCR series circuit, as equal to Vm divided by Z, Vm divided by Z into sine omega t plus phi, where Vm by Z is Im, peak value of current Im, into sine omega t plus phi. So we found the value of Im as Vm by Z, and finally we defined what is Z. Z is the impedance, and what is phi, that is phase relation, where Z is the impedance of LCR circuit, impedance of LCR circuit, which plays the same role as resistor in case of AC circuit connected with resistor. And phase phi is the phase difference between current and voltage. Phase phi is given by tan inverse of XC minus XL divided by R. So this is the phase relation. So this is how we find the value of instantaneous current by using phasor diagram method. In the next video, we shall discuss about the same solution by analytical method. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.